Hello, my name is Molly Harvey,
And I'm Olivia Johnson.
and we are here today with Nick Loveland. Nick Loveland, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Nick Loveland. I'm Chief Operating Officer of B Music, which is the charity that runs Symphony Hall and Town Hall.
Perfect. Today we're just going to be asking a few questions to Nick about the heritage within Symphony Hall.
So what drew you to working at Symphony Hall?
Well, I was working, before I worked here, which was a long time ago because I've been here over 30 years, I was working in a theatre in York, which unfortunately went bust. So I was out of work. I was looking all around the country, and this was just at the point that Symphony Hall was being finished off being built. So they were looking for lots of staff, so I applied. Birmingham was not a place I ever thought I'd live, but I ended up here, and I thought I'll stay here 5 years and then I'll go somewhere else, because that's what you tend to do in the arts, or you used to, is you go to a venue for a few years and then you move on to another venue for another few years. However, I've stayed here 33 years, and I sort of started at the bottom and now I'm at the top.
So do you feel connected to the history of the Symphony Hall, and do you know how well it's expanded? Expand on that for me.
I totally am. I'm probably the most, you've picked the best person to talk to who's most linked, because I've been here for Symphony Hall's entire life. So it was built, as I say, opened in 1991, took about 3 or 4 years to build. And before Symphony Hall was built, this part of Birmingham that we're in was pretty run down. There wasn't much going on. The opening of Symphony Hall as part of the International Convention Centre, which is the bigger building that we're in now, that kind of re-energised this part of the city, and as a result of that, Broad Street came back to life. So you've got all the bars and pubs and things now, and the National Indoor Arena, as was called, what's now called the Utilita Arena. I don't know, the arena down the road, Pulse, the BP Pulse Arena, that was opened a few years later. So this whole part of the city came back to life, and it's really stayed that way ever since.
Would you say that's Symphony's Hall's way of preserving Birmingham's music history?
Without a doubt. Birmingham's got an incredibly rich music history, with loads and loads of artists having performed in venues all over the city, and this is the latest part of that. We'll come on to Town Hall later, but Town Hall's got a crucial part of that history as well.
Do you think that not sure what I'm trying to ask here. I had a question in my head and it's gone now. It's okay, we can cut that out. But I'll ask something else for now. Do you have a favourite event or an experience here?
There's lots. I always feel a little bit of a fraud when I say this, because my most memorable experience is not a musical one, because Symphony Hall, because it's so iconic, has been used for many things other than music. And we had the G8 conference here, the world leaders all came to here in 1998. And so I stood in that hall and I watched Tony Blair and Boris Yeltsin and Bill Clinton and all the other world leaders all sitting in a row of seats in my hall, which was pretty mind-blowing, I can tell you. So that's the most memorable event.
Wow. My question was, do you think that Birmingham's going to become a music city? It's going to expand to become a music city like like Manchester and London? Do you think it's coming that way, or is it still needing a lot of work?
Well, I think it's always been a musical city. I mean, it's different to Manchester. They've got different scene up there, but I think Birmingham's got its own rich musical heritage. So I don't think it's going to become one. I think it's already a musical city. It's just different.
Oh, yeah.
I have one more question. How does Symphony Hall as a venue stand out from other venues in the country?
Right, okay. How long have you got? So basically, the crucial difference between Symphony Hall and not just venues in this country, but venues across the world, is that it was designed by an acoustician, not an architect. Okay, so buildings normally structurally designed by architects. Acoustician, every finish in Symphony Hall was designed with sound in mind. So when it was built, it was the most perfect sound hall in the world. Unfortunately, since then, 33 years, there's 1 or 2 others that have been built that are slightly better, a bit more modern. However, it still remains one of the top 5 halls in the world for natural sound. And of course, then you can add speakers and you can add PA to it, and it's fine. But its best sound is when you have something like an orchestra or a singer or a pianist or something with no amplification. It's absolutely crystal clear, perfect. That's why it's better than better than any other venue.
I think you really love working here.
I do really love it. I was talking to someone this morning saying, I don't ever take it for granted. I feel very lucky to have worked here almost all my career in such a great place. I am musical and I love I love the performances, but it's just a great place to be around. As you know, you've just been in there. It's a great, iconic building.
Do you feel like you're going to stay here? This is going to be your job forever, or are you going to move on to something else, something bigger and better, they may say?
No, I don't think I'll be going anywhere else now. If you'd asked me that 10, 15 years ago, I might have had itchy feet, but now, no, I'll stay here. They'll take me out in a box.
Okay, well, thank you so much.